Imagine waking up one morning surrounded by silence and realizing that the friendships you once cherished have slowly faded away. You look around, and the familiar faces are gone. But here's the surprising truth. This moment of solitude could be the start of something extraordinary. What if letting go of the need for friends wasn't about loneliness, but about freedom? What if this was your chance to redefine happiness on your own terms? As we explore this journey of independence, you'll discover that it's not about isolation. It's about embracing a life where true fulfillment comes from within. Stay tuned to uncover the 6 reasons why embracing solitude can lead to a more fulfilling life after 70. Now let's get started. Number 1. Shifting from external dependence to internal strength. Imagine yourself standing at the peak of a mountain, looking back at the journey of your life. You've navigated through decades of social obligations, career milestones, and countless relationships. By the time you reach 70, you've seen it all. In your younger years, you hustled through endless parties, meetings, and corporate events, trying to fit into every crowd. You sought validation at every turn, always chasing that next nod of approval. That phase is over. The need for external validation begins to fade, and a new era of self-reliance dawns. Now, imagine the difference. The younger self, burdened by the need for group acceptance, versus the older self, free, independent, and in control of personal fulfillment. Let's rewind for a second. Think back to your younger years, 20s, 30s, even your 50s. Life felt like a race to fit in, to be liked, to be seen. From office politics to neighborhood cookouts, it often wasn't about who you truly connected with, but about how many people you could impress. You might remember working the corporate ladder, surrounded by faces, handshakes, and polite smiles. Meetings, business lunches, birthday cards passed around just for show. At the time, it felt like friendship. But the moment retirement hit, most of those connections vanished. Gone. No phone calls, no visits, just silence. And yet, in that silence, something powerful happens. You realize you don't need them. That phase is over. What matters now is not who claps for you, but how you feel when you're alone. That's where real strength lives. Think back to your younger years. How often did friendships revolve around keeping up appearances? But now, you've seen enough to know that true fulfillment doesn't come from external approval. Let's be real. Relying on others for happiness can feel like walking a tightrope, never knowing if you'll fall. But self-reliance? That's solid ground. That's waking up in the morning and knowing you have everything you need, right there inside you. Here's the beauty of this age. You're no longer bound by expectations. You don't have to attend events you don't enjoy or keep up with people who drain your energy. You get to choose peace over noise, solitude over shallow connections. But here's the question that lingers. If friendship isn't a need anymore, what takes its place? What fills that space? And how can you use this freedom to live not just longer, but better? Number 2, peace over pressure, accepting that friendships naturally change. As we journey through life, friendships evolve, and some inevitably fade. But what if the friends are gone? This question often lingers, leaving us wondering about the future of our social connections. We'll delve deeper into handling these changes later. But for now, let's explore a crucial truth. True independence is not about isolation. Many people make the mistake of believing that independence means isolation. True independence isn't about being cut off from others. It's about choosing peace over pressure, freedom over forced obligations. Over time, friendships shift. Some fade slowly, like old photographs left in the sun. Others end suddenly, a disagreement, a move, or simply the passing of time. Let's be honest, not all friendships end in some big fight. Often they just drift. Think about the friend you used to call every weekend. One day the calls stopped, not out of anger. Those are connections that quietly slipped into the background. Studies from the Journal of Aging and Mental Health show that older adults who focus on quality over quantity in relationships report higher levels of satisfaction and lower stress. In other words, you don't need a crowd, you need peace. Take Helen, 74, from Arizona. She used to host monthly luncheons with her social group, but over time, the planning became a chore. The conversations, once lively, felt repetitive, so she stepped back. She told us, "I was scared at first. I thought I'd be lonely. But what I found was relief, real relief. Now I have time for my garden, my books, and I feel content." Many people make the mistake of believing that independence means isolation. That couldn't be further from the truth. Independence is about embracing peace and contentment, even when it means letting go of relationships that no longer serve us. Think of those connections that quietly slipped into the background. Friendships that once thrived but now exist only in memories. Life has a way of testing our bonds. Some friendships dissolve over small disagreements, while others drift apart due to life's inevitable changes. It's natural, not tragic. Prioritizing peace over the pressure of constant socializing can bring immense relief and contentment. Imagine waking up each day without the weight of maintaining relationships that no longer feel authentic. This shift in perspective allows us to focus on what truly matters, our own well-being and happiness. By embracing this change, we open ourselves to new experiences and relationships that align with our current journey. Number 3, relying on others for happiness leads to disappointment. As we age, our social circles often shrink, and it becomes clearer that emotional well-being shouldn't hinge on other people's availability or approval. This is a crucial lesson for maintaining happiness and stability in life. According to Dr. Laura Carstensen, a renowned psychologist, as people age, they tend to focus more on meaningful relationships and less on superficial ones. However, even these meaningful connections can sometimes lead to disappointment if we rely too heavily on them for our emotional fulfillment. People are unpredictable. They have their own responsibilities. Expecting them to fill your emotional needs is a recipe for disappointment. Think about it. How often have you been stood up or noticed that someone never reciprocates your kindness? It hurts, and it happens often. But here's why you can shift that perspective and safeguard your happiness. Let me tell you about Frank, 78, from Ohio. For years, he waited every Sunday for a phone call from his son. At first, it came weekly, then monthly, then not at all. Frank said, "I felt forgotten. It was like I didn't matter anymore." But over time, he changed his approach. He stopped waiting. He started walking every morning, cooking meals he enjoyed, and volunteering at a local library. "I realized," Frank said, "I don't need someone else to make my day worthwhile. I can do that myself." This shift is powerful. It protects your peace. It keeps your happiness in your hands, not someone else's. This shift in perspective is empowering. By recognizing that others can't always meet our emotional needs, we can take control of our own happiness. We invite you to share your stories of how you've learned to rely on yourself for emotional fulfillment. Your experiences can inspire others to do the same. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below. to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Now let's move forward. Number 4, time is precious. Focus on quality, not quantity. At this stage in life, you can't afford to waste time on superficial connections. Imagine juggling a dozen acquaintances, people you chat with, but never really connect to. The conversations stay at the surface. Weather, news, pleasantries. Now compare that to having just one person who truly understands you. Someone who listens, who sees you. Or better yet, imagine having your own peaceful routine, filled with things you love, with no pressure to entertain or impress anyone. That's not loneliness, that's freedom. Focusing on what truly matters, quality relationships or meaningful solitude. No matter how good a friendship may be, it requires time and effort. There are calls to be made, visits to be scheduled, and plans to be made. We need relationships that are worth maintaining and working on, not habits that we carry over from the past, relationships that we maintain out of obligation rather than the true joy they bring. Take Marie, 81, from Oregon. For years, she felt obligated to attend every neighborhood gathering, even when she didn't enjoy them. I felt exhausted, she said, always making small talk, always smiling. One day, she decided to stop going. She started painting instead. Alone, peaceful, content. Now I spend my time doing what I love. I don't need to be surrounded by people. I just need peace. And that's the key, peace over pressure. Time is your most limited resource now. Every hour should feel like it matters, to you. And you get to choose how to spend it. You get to say no to draining conversations, no to obligations that don't bring joy, and yes to quality moments, even if they're spent alone. So, think about it. What are you giving your time to? Are those moments filling you up or leaving you empty? Tell us in the comments. What's one thing you've started doing recently that brings you joy, even without anyone else around? Let's trade ideas. Your story might inspire someone who needs it today. Now let's move forward. Number 5, cultivating inner peace through solitude. A quiet morning, the kind where the world hasn't fully woken up yet. You step into the kitchen, the air still cool, and pour yourself a cup of coffee. The aroma is familiar, comforting. You sit by the window watching the light stretch across the sky. No noise, no demands, just you, your thoughts, and the gentle warmth of the cup in your hands. Maybe you open a notebook, jotting down a memory from your youth, or a simple thought about the day ahead. This is solitude, not emptiness, but peace. A calm that wraps around you like a soft blanket. You see, many people fear solitude, but there's a difference between being alone and feeling lonely. This peaceful scene evokes a sense of tranquility, a feeling that comes from embracing solitude. Many people fear solitude, but there's a difference between being alone and feeling lonely. Solitude can be a powerful tool for fostering deeper self-understanding and inner peace. And here's something most people don't realize. Solitude can help you understand yourself more deeply than any conversation ever could. Let's hear from Anne, 79. For years, she filled her calendar with social events, afraid that being alone would make her feel forgotten. But after a health scare, she slowed down. She said, "I started each morning sitting quietly, just listening to the birds. I began to feel grounded. For the first time, I wasn't rushing. I wasn't chasing anyone's attention. I found peace in my own presence." This distinction between loneliness and solitude is vital. While loneliness can be isolating, solitude can be liberating. By embracing solitude, you can cultivate a deeper understanding of yourself and find peace in the quiet moments. As we near the end of our journey, we'll explore one final revelation: the profound difference between solitude and isolation. Stay tuned for our closing thoughts on how embracing solitude can lead to a more fulfilling life. Number 6. Embracing independence and letting go. One of the most powerful things you can do after 70 is to let go of sadness. As we age, one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is the freedom from social obligations. Letting go of the shoulds in life creates mental and emotional space, allowing us to live more authentically. Imagine finally saying no to events you dread, feeling the liberating rush of having your day entirely to yourself. This is what it means to truly live on your own terms. Let go of the pressure to maintain friendships that no longer bring joy. The moment you do, you open the door to a simpler, freer life. Because the moment you let go of your own expectations, you open the door to a much simpler, freer, and more fulfilling life. Picture this. You've been invited to an event you don't enjoy. In the past, you'd force yourself to go, out of habit, out of guilt. But today, you say no. You stay home. The day is yours. A walk, a book, or simply nothing at all. That rush of relief, of freedom, it's powerful. This isn't just theory. A 2020 study from Stanford University found that seniors who actively declined social events they didn't enjoy experienced higher life satisfaction and reduced stress, simply because they were finally living on their own terms. The fewer unwanted obligations you carry, the lighter and freer you feel. Let me tell you about Carol, 82, from Michigan. For years, she felt tied to her social group, attending weekly meetups out of habit, not enjoyment. One day, she quietly stepped back. "At first, I worried they'd notice or judge me," she said. "But what I felt was peace. I started painting again. I felt like myself." Her story is simple, but powerful. It's about taking your time back. This is your time. No more playing by someone else's rules. You decide where your energy goes. And when you let go of connections that weigh you down, you make room for peace, purpose, and joy. This newfound freedom is a powerful tool for living a more authentic life. By embracing independence and letting go of unnecessary obligations, you can create space for what truly matters to you. As we wrap up this video, take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed. What do you do when your friends are gone? It's not a tragedy. It's a chance to redefine your life on your own terms. Relationships fade, plans get canceled, messages go unanswered, and at first, that can feel like a loss. But it's not. It's a release from the pressure to maintain connections that no longer bring you joy, and from the weight of unmet expectations. Throughout this journey, we've explored the highs of finding peace and freedom, and the lows of disappointment and unmet expectations. But the most profound realization is this: you have the power to choose how you live your life. Imagine the relief and liberation that comes with embracing this freedom. We invite you to share your own experiences in the comments below. What part of this journey resonated with you the most? Please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the beauty of living life on your own terms. Your stories can inspire others to embark on this journey of self-discovery. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.